You've unlocked a roundtable.
Hello, and welcome to Lost Levels Roundtable discussion of Captain America Civil War. My name is Chris Levon. With me, as always, is Alex Sandberg.
Hello.
So, we just watched Civil War, and to start this off, I'm going to change up the format for this one. I think that enough people have seen Civil War that we don't need to go into just a review and then a spoiler section at the end. We can just go into a full spoiler talk at this point.
Alright, so this whole thing's going to be full spoilers, so you've been warned.
Yeah, I think, looking at the box office numbers, I think everybody in America has probably seen this movie.
Well, you have to count that I saw it 3 times, so there may be 2 people who haven't seen it.
That's true. You did see it 3 times this weekend.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a movie that many times in theaters. I don't think...
Especially in one weekend. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was just a weird set of circumstances that made me do that.
It kind of...
It was me hanging out with people who all wanted to go see it on separate occasions. So I just ended up seeing with those people when I happened to go hang out with them.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I saw it twice. I saw it twice with you. Once on Thursday like we usually do. Then Sunday I took my daughter.
And
we tagged along. And then
Saturday. Yes.
And then you happened to go again.
And Tyler came along as well. You may remember Tyler.
Yeah. But yeah, it's made a little bit of money this weekend.
I can imagine. I didn't look at the numbers myself, but I didn't have to know that made munch.
All right, so we haven't talked about it yet. So this is the first time we're actually talking about it, which is good. It's been a few days since we watched it, and I've been wanting to talk about it.
We've had time to digest it and process it in our minds.
Well, you know the screenplay probably by heart. You were probably like mouthing it by the 3rd time.
Oh, pretty much.
All right. So, where do you want to start?
Well, I mean, let's give the basic rundown of the plot. It's the Avengers are a thing, and they do many tasks around the world to, save humanity, but at the same time, there's destruction in the process and innocent lives are lost. So it's many governments across the world feel the Avengers need to be sanctioned in some sense and have restraints put on them. Captain America disagrees with this. Iron Man agrees with it. And they start butting heads from there.
Yeah. And since this is a spoiler talk, I mean, we won't go into like a whole entire full synopsis of it by any means, but this is why Marvel movies work versus a DC movie.
Yes, very much so.
Watching everything that happens and there's repercussions for these actions, there's reasons for stuff to happen on screen. Obviously, Tony feeling guilty about someone dying in the events of Age of Ultron, and just seeing like his legacy, just no matter how hard he tries, there's always going to be like these problems.
Exactly, and that was perfect for this character because you see it throughout all the movies where there's some sense of regret with what he does. I mean, down to the initial movie where he regrets running a huge company that makes armaments and kills many people to the point where that regret made him stop making those items.
And he becomes a hero out of that.
Right.
And it's
him constantly making amends.
It's great seeing like character development like that and seeing like, even if you're looking at this movie, if you didn't watch all of these other movies that led up to Civil War, if you watched just Civil War as your first Marvel movie, they really did a strong thing with the writing in terms of watching like innocent people dying and the accidents that happen, no matter how cohesive that unit is, the Avengers, and how well they work together. There's going to be some casualty, and seeing that weighing on them and the affecting them really shows a human dynamic to them that DC has never been able to accomplish.
Right. I mean, just, let's go down to Scarlet Witch. She flung Crossbones up in the air as he was exploding, and ended up killing a few innocents. And you saw her visceral reaction of horror of what she just did. I mean, granted, she probably saved more lives by doing that than not, but, you know, at her hands, innocent people died, and you saw the grief in her.
Yeah, and it's such great storytelling. See that stuff, and I mean, Civil War is a long movie. It's 2.5 hours long. It's their longest movie that they've ever made. But even those scenes, like, really didn't feel like they were drawing out the movie very much, because there was importance to each of those scenes.
Yes.
They were leading to build a story that made sense, that you felt kind of torn between Cap's side, because you can totally see what Cap is thinking, and you can see what Tony's thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what this movie needed.
Right. This is a dense movie. Like, there's a lot going on here, and they pack it in really well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's amazing to see how well everything works and how everything just balances each other out. Because there are scenes that, if you're looking for just strictly action, you know, there are some lulls in this movie. Like, you might not, you're like, where's the action beat? Because they're trying to set up other things, and they're you know, having these dialogue sections that are great in context because you understand what they're building. So, you know, somebody who might be looking for, I wanted more action, could be disappointed by that. Maybe.
I guess, I don't know, but I felt the action beats were all very strong, all in their own regard. I mean, each one felt very different and fun in a lot of ways.
Right. They were all unique to themselves. And you're right about that. Because it's easy to just get into these types of movies and just have action almost become boring, because it's kind of just rinse and repeat.
Mm-hmm.
How we kind of saw with Hardcore Henry.
Right. Yes.
Where there's just so much action in that movie, and it was just the same kind of stuff over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
But with this, each scene where they had to do something really felt unique in itself, and just showed how strong the direction was and how much care there is in making these movies.
Yeah, like whether it was, you know, the heroes take on just a bunch of foot soldiers and laying waste to them, or it was a, you know, full-on brawl between superheroes.
Oh my god, I can't wait to talk about that.
Or just, you know, a more private, intimate battle between superheroes even. Or just an insane chase sequence amongst superheroes. Like, they're all really good and unique beats.
Yeah, and like, obviously we'll get into it a little bit more here, but I just wanted to, like, lead off this discussion with the fact that, like, we've watched Batman versus Superman, and now we've watched Civil War. Granted, this is not a DC versus Marvel conversation, or am I, like, a Marvel fanboy and hating on DC? Two of my favorite characters ever is Batman and Iron Man,
right,
from both universes. I'm cool with
both the rich ones. We see where your priority lies.
Right,
you want sugar daddy.
But yeah, I mean, I like DC and I like Marvel equally. It's just, it's unfortunate to see how DC has kind of looked at the criticism of Man of Steel and saw, like, all this destruction, and Superman is not really giving a shit, and then taking it upon themselves to focus in or make it a point to recognize that in Batman versus Superman and show that consequence, but still not hitting the notes they really needed to hit.
Yeah.
In regards to that, like, yeah, you saw, you know, Bruce Wayne's pissed off now because of those events and stuff, but you just see the world in fear. And it's just a different way of battling or approaching the subjects. And I felt like Civil War really approached those subjects the correct way, where it led to this, like, discussion of, like, yeah, we're all the nations around the world,
right, have
decided and all signed on this, that it's best if you guys are regulated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It takes that political approach where, people are actually trying to do something about these super-powered humans, patrolling the world.
And you see these superheroes actually with emotion.
Mm-hmm.
And as you said, with Scarlet Witch, completely devastated. The fact that she wasn't able to project him straight up into the sky with no casualties. It just happened he blew up close to a building. And there was so much explosive there that caused that. But it's just those superheroes cared. The DC side, there's really no emotion for any of that stuff. It's just
no.
There's just expressionless. I don't know how to say it.
They just kind of shrug it off.
Yeah.
They don't even acknowledge it. They're just kind of like, okay, went through a building. It happens.
Right?
No, it doesn't just happen.
Just murdering a whole bunch of guys, people with your machine guns on your car, no afterthought.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, that was unique to Batman's character. The superheroes don't really have much problem killing people in this, as long as they're bad. You see Black Widow shooting people regardless, and same with Falcon. So they'll kill people as long as they deserve to be killed.
Right.
Quote unquote deserve.
Yeah, there's not innocence necessarily involved, and there's definitely a focus on trying to save as many innocent people as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what should be. These are what these characters are. This is the universe they come from, and Marvel has really captured that feeling and emotion through their movies leading up to Civil War, and kind of capping it off in a perfect way.
Right.
Showing that story, showing why Civil War needed to happen and why it did happen.
Yeah, and we've had a dozen movies where we're learning about these characters, and they're being built up as people, as characters, as a cohesive unit, and you start to understand the relationships between all of them, and that's what made the conflict between them that much more important and devastating and emotional, because you see the bond between them, and it's hard. You see how hard it is for them to fight each other. They don't want to, but they feel they have to for the greater good.
Yeah, and man, even Tony recruits somebody new.
Oh, really? Who?
I don't know who.
Oh.
No, but no. Obviously, Tony reaches into his bag of tricks and pulls out Spider-Man.
Right.
And thankfully, I always joked around about Spider-Man being a kid and how does he make these freaking suits that are in the movies, and the Tobey Maguire suit, the Andrew Garfield suit. How these are there's no way a kid made these suits. It just doesn't feel believable. And then Marvel steps in, all right, let's take our crack at Spidey. And sure enough, Spidey has this suit with these goggles that a kid would make.
Right.
I'm thank you, Marvel. Thank you for addressing this. And then Tony steps in. He's like, yeah, I'll help you out. So Stark Tech suit, you have the new Spidey suit, which is amazing.
Yes. When I initially saw it, I wasn't impressed with it. I still had some issues with the design of it. Okay. But otherwise, it looked really good.
I think it looked really good on screen. I thought that the way that they explained everything is perfect, exactly what I wanted them to do. They took a second and said, with the eyes focusing in and on with his sensitivities. I'm perfect.
Right.
You covered everything that I wanted you guys to cover. Thank you, Marvel, for knocking it out of the park.
Uh-huh.
That is awesome.
I really like this Spider-Man. You know what? I like him. I like him so much better than I like Tobey Maguire. I think I like him more than I like Andrew Garfield as well.
Because he's the kid. He plays a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a 30-year-old playing a teenager. Yeah. And he's written just like what a teen would do in these circumstances. He's trying to fight on the side of good. Tony's explained to him that Cap's side is just being misguided right now, and he's trying to you have the right to remain silent.
Yeah. And but that's also interesting dynamic because here's Spider-Man who looks up to these heroes as well, and he's excited to see Cap, but he's also like, I have to fight him, and he's only doing it because an adult told him, Cap's not really on the up and up right now. You need to take care. We have to take care of this. And as a kid, he believed him because he's not experienced and he hasn't created his own. He's still creating his own moral compass.
Yeah.
So he is easily swayed to Iron Man's side.
Yeah, and I love that they show his strength.
Yeah.
Like Spidey's strength isn't really like, I was trying to like think about it a little bit, like thinking of the Tobey Maguire and the Amazing Spider-Mans, and I can't remember, like, obviously they show his strength, that he's stronger than a lot of things, but at the same time, like, I just felt like they really showed how strong he can be.
Yeah,
better.
You see him holding up heavy objects quite a bit, and it's really not touched upon on the other ones, but this one, like, yeah, Spider-Man's actually really freaking strong. We forget that.
He's super agile, and he has these web slingers, and you kind of just forget the fact that he's as strong as a spider as well. And it was nice to see that. Although, like, I would kind of question how Cap knew that. Because Cap tried to just throw a whole entire terminal thing on top of him.
Yeah, I did question that a little bit myself.
The boarding thing to get onto a plane, Cap pretty much just puts it on top of him, and luckily Spidey's strong enough to hold it.
Right?
How does Cap know that?
Yeah, well, he felt his punches, so I figure he had some idea.
I would hope so, but yeah, like him, Spidey catching Winter Soldier's arm. Like, I mean, that was so cool.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just a lot of great moments in there with Spider-Man, and more than I anticipated, which was really cool.
I mean, granted, he wasn't in it a lot, but he was in the scene that really counted.
Yeah, it's kind of like he was great. And it was a great introduction to the character. As you said, I really enjoyed this Spider-Man.
A lot, yeah.
I am so looking forward to Homecoming now. The new Spider-Man movie that's coming out.
Right, which is weird to say for a third time. I'm looking forward to a new Spider-Man movie.
No, we don't have an origin story. We don't have to worry about all that stuff.
True.
We finally have a teenage Peter Parker who we've wanted to see for so long and didn't realize we didn't have it necessarily until we saw this one. They're like, holy shit, this is Spidey.
Yeah, that's spot on.
This is amazing. And I'm really excited for that. Obviously, the other huge appearance that I really enjoyed for me was going to be Ant-Man. Paul Rudd is absolutely amazing.
Oh my god. Yeah, right?
From the moment he gets out of the van to him being giant sized.
I just forgot how much I loved it. It's so good.
Yeah, it's oh god. I love Paul Rudd so much. He just fits in so well because he's unique to himself. And he just his quips are awesome, and I really enjoy Ant-Man.
Exactly. And I liked seeing everyone come back. Like, I liked seeing Hawkeye come back as well. I'm always a big Hawkeye fan, and tossing him in there also with some good quips. I was like, I like this. I like everything about all these people in here together, and I like how they play off each other.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like overcrowded on screen.
No.
They all get their moments to kind of shine and do very well. Like Wanda or Scarlet Witch with her powers, like you really get to see how powerful she can be. And that's an awesome sight. Like seeing her being able to really cause some damage when needed.
And being helpful when needed. Just, how many times, she stopped 2 blows 2 separate times to her allies, and it's just like, yeah, she could be really helpful with those powers. She's a great addition to the team.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I never knew how I felt about Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch being added to the team, but now seeing her chemistry and seeing her being a different type of hero and being added to the team is a good idea. I think that was really great foresight by Joss Whedon to do that, in terms of just grabbing another Avenger who has similar powers or having a similar dynamic to the team. She is really different, and that brings a great new diverse idea to what the team can be.
Right, and what also this movie does really well is just seeing how they work as a team. You see how they work together and help each other out. Like, Wanda flinging Captain America up through a window or things like that. How they use each other's powers to help each other out in a situation. It's done really well in this.
Oh yeah,
I mean, you got Ant-Man on Hawkeye's arrow.
Oh god, how cool was that?
That was so great.
That was so amazing. And then even with whatchamacallit, what was I gonna say?
I don't know.
I can't remember. Oh well. But we didn't talk about the other new addition to the team, Black Panther.
Right.
So, your thoughts on Black Panther?
I don't know a lot about Black Panther, but I enjoyed him in this because once again, he's kind of a striker guy, so you get that he's just a good fighter, and you get that with Scarlet Witch and Captain America and Winter Soldier, but just to have that different personality there, I think is good and a good introduction for him.
It was a great introduction for him. Like they're not going to waste any time with an origin story for him.
Right.
In his standalone movie, they've established him in this movie, and they did a great job of setting him up for the Black Panther movie. They put Winter Soldier there, frozen in carbonite, and
you get a sense that Wakanda's not something to be fucked with.
Yeah, you finally get to see a part of Wakanda, and then it feels like they're going to find a way someone's going to find out that Bucky's there, and then that's going to lead to the Black Panther movie.
Something like that, possibly.
Yeah. I mean, that was my interpretation of it, but for sure, I don't like it. I'm with you. Like I've not really followed Black Panther that much. I don't read the comics or anything, but I liked the representation of him on film.
Yeah.
I thought the actor was really good. I thought that he was strong. He felt justified in his actions.
Oh, totally.
And wise as a king should be.
Right. Just the one of the last scenes with him went with Zemo outside of the bunker, and he's just like, vengeance is consuming everybody. I have to rise above it because, I'm a king. I have to be that way. Yeah. And it shows great character in him.
Yeah, and shows like he's he made wrong decisions. He's owned up to those wrong decisions, and now he's intelligent enough to not deal with that. And that's like the important thing that we have with this.
Yes.
That's why we have great, well-rounded characters in here. You don't necessarily need to give them 45 minutes of screen time to try to establish them. You give them bits and pieces of important parts, and then those important parts speak volumes for that character.
Yeah. It develops them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Strongly.
Like, now I know enough about Black Panther to lead into his movie that I'm more interested in it. And I'm ready to go. Like, Civil War really sets up the next phase for Marvel in a surprising way. Like, because we've had our normal Avengers now for a lot of movies.
Yeah, totally.
And so now we're moving to the next phase, and this really opens up that doorway to, a secret Avengers with Cap, and now you have Tony's Avengers, who's going to be on that team.
Right.
Like we have this whole entire setup for everything, and it's just going to be really complex and really interesting by the time Thanos rolls around to see what exactly is going to happen.
Yeah. And we're still getting introduced to characters as well, because we're still waiting for Doctor Strange. And is there another one? I'm trying to think.
Doctor Strange, Captain Marvel.
Yes, there we go.
They pushed in humans. I'm trying to think of who else they're going to try to incorporate. Thor and Hulk will be back.
Right. But regardless, I mean, Marvel's heading in a great direction, it seems.
Yeah, it's hard. Like you're waiting for them to stumble. Like you've been through how many comic book movies at this point,
Right.
and you're kind of at the point like,
I mean, they've had some slight missteps in a few movies, but nothing really detrimental to the whole franchise.
yeah, nothing that makes you walk away from like, yeah, I'm just tired of these movies.
No, I mean, this breathed new life into everything because it shook up the universe a lot.
It's amazing how much like Captain America was never like one of those people that I've actively read or anything. I kind of felt he was like, Superman, the Boy Scout.
Mm-hmm.
But then as they've expanded him and throughout this whole entire universe now in the movies, I really like Cap. I really like Cap. Like since Winter Soldier, Winter Soldier is probably one of the most rewatched movies for me in the universe.
Really?
I've really started to like that movie a lot. It's a great movie. It's really solid. I really like Cap in that movie, and I really come to appreciate Cap a long way. And like even now, like him and Tony, that relationship is so dynamic. It's really good. And
it's brutal to watch sometimes, man. Just when they're going at it, like especially in the end there, like you felt the emotion, you felt the anger and resentment towards each other, and how they didn't want to do this, but there was no other option for them.
No, absolutely. It's brutal to watch them and seeing both sides of it. Like you understand where they're coming from. And as you said, at the very end, I mean, they have a truce because, Tony realizes Cap was right. This Zemo guy has these other...
Yes, he framed...
other things going on. He has his ulterior motive. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, Zemo's perfectly timed plan is like, yeah, here, Winter Soldier killed your parents.
I found that a little unbelievable. Just the fact that everyone ended up there at the same time, right in time for Zemo to unveil that. I found that a little like, how could you have planned all three of those guys being, just those three being there to unveil that?
Yeah, probably not.
But, I mean...
He knew at least Cap would be there. He knew Winter Soldier was probably going to be with him. And then, more than likely, he put Tony against them.
Right,
so Tony would try to follow them. Tony has technology to follow them.
Yeah.
So maybe...
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. It's a little bit of a far stretch.
A little bit. And in the same sense, they didn't all have to be there together for Zemo to get that video to, like, Tony Stark or something. He could have sent it some other way for Tony to go off the rails and just try to beat the shit out of Winter Soldier in different...
And maybe he had that plan. Maybe, like, if they weren't all there, then he had a different way of doing it. Like,
exactly.
Who knows?
So this just could have been like, oh, all my ducks were in a line perfectly.
Yeah, maybe he had a plan B or plan C or whatever. I'm sure he probably
Because,
did.
I mean, I don't know much about that character, but from what I understand, he's supposed to be like a master planner of some sort, so he's supposed to be really good at those things. So I'm sure he had contingencies set up.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I'll give them benefit of the doubt because they crafted such a well delivered story.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tony just loses it and he just goes after Winter Soldier.
Yeah, it's just that was really emotional. And I mean, when you as an audience realize what's going on, like I was like, shit.
Yeah,
Tyler. I love Tyler, but somehow he's able to guess movies, and he guessed it partway through. When Tony brings out those pens, or whatever to sign with, he turns to me and goes, "The Starks were in that car." And I was like, God damn it, Tyler, how did you figure that out? How did you figure it out? But when I saw it for the third time, I was with my buddy Scott and Tyler again, and when that scene unfolded, we both just turned to Scott and we just watched his face and just like the horror that fell over him and just the utter shock. It's like, that is a crazy scene.
Yeah. And just watching it all unfold, it was hard, man. They really did a good job in terms of watching Cap versus Iron Man too. Like those two fighting it out, them using their abilities against each other, and Tony smart enough to like tell his AI to like learn the fight patterns and to just take over,
right,
and just start wailing on Cap because he can't do it himself. He needs help from his tech,
right,
and that was an awesome moment.
It was great, but just in the end, when Cap breaks his helmet, then just finally shoves it in his arc, his
arc reactor,
yeah. Like, I was afraid that he was going for his head. Like, I thought he was going to smash his head in. Like, it was that intense of a scene.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't say enough about this movie, honestly.
Nope. No, this movie is everything that I wanted it to be and more. Like, I couldn't fathom the idea of this movie being that good. Like,
right?
Like, I really knew, I was really happy about Civil War. Like, oh man, they're going to do Civil War on screen. But anytime that happens, they're like, oh shit, they're going to do Civil War on screen. How are they going to mess it up? Or how is it going to be different enough that I'm not going to like it or for whatever thing? Because I just feel so down with other franchises and other movies. Whenever they do like a plot line that I've always liked, I'll watch it. Like, you watch Dawn of Justice, and we watched the Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman together on the screen, all for all time. Oh God, how are they gonna mess that up? And they did. But Civil War, like I was cautiously reserved a little bit. Like, oh man, this is a huge storyline for Marvel. Can they do it? And then, fuck, man, like watching the story, like them taking the time to make those story beats, to make sure that the information, the proper feeling, the proper emotions were there to cause the Civil War.
I mean,
in a thematic standpoint, like it just blew me away. Like, holy shit, they did it!
Right.
Like, this is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, because there was depth to all the characters. Like even Zemo, there was depth to him. You understood where he was coming from, and he even takes you for a loop. You see he's hunting down where these other Winter Soldiers are, and you think, oh shit, he's going to have Army of Winter Soldiers,
Death Squad, yeah. And
then no, he kills them because he knows how dangerous they are. So, I mean, even in everyone's mind, what they're doing is the right thing.
Yeah, and like, even with Zemo's character, like, it's hard to make that type of character a quality villain. Because, he's a human character fighting against superheroes. So you have to use, mind tricks. But, like, the way that they give him depth is like, just listening to a recorded message.
Mm-hmm.
And not exactly knowing that wasn't a live conversation he was having until he's listening to it again later.
Mm-hmm.
Like little tiny bits like that. Like you understand the story a lot better, and you understand him and what takes him or what makes him work. That's just, it's amazing. It's great. And damn it, Marvel.
Way to up your game yet again.
It's hard to top yourselves, and you keep on doing it. So you've watched it 3 times now.
Yeah.
What else are you going to say about it? Do you have anything else?
No, I mean, I just think, we covered everything we can. This movie's just great all around.
Yeah. I mean, it gives you all your characters back. They all get their moments. Like, so much so, like, I think there's been, like, a lot of positive buzz about Black Widow that are talking about doing a standalone finally.
That'd be great. I would love to see that.
They've always been kind of, like, wishy-washy about a standalone for her, but I think that she just keeps on kicking ass in these movies to the point of, like, yeah, we can have a standalone with her and give her a little bit more depth and maybe even team her up with somebody and do their own, like, a little adventure or something. Kind of like what they're doing Spidey and Iron Man.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
And that would be awesome.
Yeah.
I think people are going to be excited for that.
Yeah. Tyler was saying he would like just a movie between Falcon and Bucky in a car. Just, just and Captain America, just those three broing it out in a car.
Just a
Volkswagen
road trip?
Beagle. Yeah. Like he said, I just need that as a movie. I think Marvel would do great.
See, that's the thing that we kind of talk about like over and over again. Like those little moments, they're subtle. They're not over the top, hit you in the face moment like Force Awakens, the bromance between Finn and
yes, it felt very forced. This feels natural.
Yeah, like that's the difference between good writing and forced writing. The forced feeling in Force Awakens, whatever. But I mean, that was just so over the top and like in your face. But people still bought it, like still, like it. I'm like, that's weird to me. Anyways, the little subtle moments, like the little head nods when Cap kisses the girl.
God, that's perfect because if you were in that situation, your friends would react the same way. That made me smile from ear to ear because it was so spot on and real.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I love that. Like, can you move your chair? Nope. There's such great dynamic between those two. I agree. I would love to see that. Like, I would love to see like an outtakes of them just sitting there in the car for like 10 minutes and coming up with ad-lib dialogue to see like to try to show that moment. And it works so perfectly in the film.
Right.
And even when they're battling and they finally, I won't say defeat Spider-Man, but they get him away from them. He's like, I hate you.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's such a great line. It just, everything works. And it's just an entertaining movie. And you've obviously seen it if you're listening to this podcast. And hopefully you enjoyed it as much as us.
Yeah, go see it 3 times.
Yeah,
Do it.
I'm probably going to take other people to go see it.
Right.
Too, I'm sure. I really enjoyed this movie. So I think we've covered it.
Yeah. And then some.
What up next? We have Doctor Strange
In the Marvel Universe,
yeah. Like, so I'm curiously optimistic about that movie.
Yeah. Like, the first time I saw the trailer, I was kind of like, eh. But the second time, I started to get it more, and I think I see what they were trying to do.
Yeah, and I was exactly like you. I was kind of underwhelmed by the trailer of Doctor Strange. Like, oh, okay, interesting. And then kind of passed it off. Watched it before Civil War. Again, in the theaters. Like, all right, maybe. And I'm starting to, like, see it. Like, this is a whole different dimension for Marvel to take.
Because there's many aspects to the Marvel Universe.
And, they've succeeded in those other aspects before. Guardians of the Galaxy. No one knew who Guardians of the Galaxy were. I was like, why are they making a Guardians of the Galaxy movie? Like, what?
Right.
Comes out, rocks it. They got a whole new fan base just from Guardians of the Galaxy there. I mean, kids just...
People love Rocket.
Yeah.
People love Groot. Like, it's...
Like, that really gave them a whole bunch of new fan base. And you wouldn't think that going into it. Like, Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, what? And then same thing with Ant-Man. Another character that, like, obviously I read in Avengers books. Never really cared about as a character by himself. And that movie comes out and it's like, holy shit. This movie was great. And I watched that a lot too because it's such a fun movie.
Right.
They hit everything on the head and they hit everything they wanted to hit. It was just fun. So for me to be pessimistic about Doctor Strange would be kind of like a fool's errand because of the fact that they've done this in the past twice now. For me personally, I'm like, okay, you guys have my benefit of the doubt. Obviously, I'm going to watch Doctor Strange. And I'm probably going to enjoy the shit out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, Benedict Cumberbatch, he's not a bad actor.
Not by any means.
He's great, and I think that he'll rock it out in this role. So it's going to be a whole new dynamic that they're adding to the cinematic universe, where they're multi-dimensional magics and all this crazy stuff. It's going to be entertaining.
Yes.
So super excited about that. I would say go watch Civil War
Again.
multiple times. And tell your friends,
Totally.
not even your comic book friends.
Oh, yeah. I think there's stuff here for people who aren't into comic books.
Yeah, it's just a solid movie.
Totally.
Like, there's to it. Like, all right, I can just keep talking forever. Whatever.
Yeah.
How can we reach you, Alex?
You can follow me on Twitter. My name there is Alex Sandberg, AlexSanberg, or email me directly at the website, alex@lostlevel.com. What about you, Chris?
I'm on twitter.com/calmintensity. We are also on Twitter at The Lost Level. Thank you to the new followers there. We really appreciate you guys. Keep them coming. And lostlevel.com is our website. In the upper right-hand corner of that website, we have all of our links to all of our social media. We're on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Doing some new cool stuff on YouTube. Really appreciate you guys subscribing there and following us there. We'd appreciate it. So until next time, we'll talk to you guys soon.
Bye.